Previously on CMeeCraft's likely misguided attempt at holiday dieting. Starbits are modeled after the Japanese centuries-old candy Konbito. Konbito is a Japanese sugar candy. And I've collected thousands of them. That can't be very good for your health. Alright, you know what? I've decided I am going cold turkey on these caloric packets starting today. No more Starbits for me. In fact, I'm going to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting a single one. I mean, how hard can it be? And now our story continues. Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and about a month ago, I tried to beat Super Mario Galaxy without collecting any Starbits. How did it go? Well, I guess you just have to watch that video to find out. Regardless, after cutting out so many Starbits and by extension calories, the worst thing that could happen to us now is relapse. So today we are turning the no Starbit diet from a passing fad to a way of life. By finding out together, is it possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy 2 without collecting any Starbits? The rules of the run are simple. We are aiming to collect 0 Starbits. If the Starbit counter ever goes up for any reason, we have to exit the level immediately, and if we want to try it again, start from the very beginning. Our overall goal is from a brand new save file to collect 70 stars, then beat the final Bowser level in World 6 without collecting a single Starbit. There are some general tactics that we'll be employing to help us reach this goal. First and most obviously, we are going to keep Mario away from Starbits whenever possible, because you can't collect them if you're not near them. Actually, that's not strictly true. As anyone who's played this game knows, you can collect Starbits with the cursor. To avoid that happening, we'll simply point the cursor away from the screen at almost all times. We'll also be aiming to defeat enemies principally by jumping on them, because that way they drop coins instead of Starbits. Speaking of enemies, boss fights have the potential to be particularly dangerous, since most bosses drop a lot of Starbits whenever you hit them. Now that's all stuff that applies equally to the first game. Let's talk about some differences now. First of all, Hungry Lumas located within levels now take coins instead of Starbits. Hooray! If you haven't seen the first video, you don't even begin to know how happy this makes me. The ones on the world map that unblock galaxies, however, still take Starbits, so we still can't play any Hungry Luma galaxies. Also, comets work differently now. Instead of just kind of randomly appearing everywhere for no apparent reason, we now have to work for our comets by grabbing comet medals. In general, this shouldn't be too much of a problem as long as we actually remember to get them, that is. Basically what I'm saying is if you try this run for yourself, don't be an idiot like me and not collect comet medals for the first half of the game. As it turns out, they're kind of important, and you'll just have to go back and collect them all later. And I haven't even talked about the world map yet, have I? Well, Super Mario Galaxy 2 has a world map instead of the whole domes system that the original had. What does that mean for us? It means that every single first level in a galaxy that's not on some kind of branching path is a mandatory level now. So, this time around, we can't pull the same nonsense we pulled last time of skipping half the late-game galaxies. There's a lot less room for error here. And I think that's enough generalities. Let's dive into some levels, starting of course with the Star Festival. Oh my Rosalina! That's a lot of Starbits. And worse still, it's in 2D, the bane of my existence. Once these Starbits fall to the ground, there is almost no way to avoid them. And these Starbits fall at such a quick rate that they actually increase in numbers over time. After just a few seconds, the landscape transforms from this to this. As such, cautiously avoiding the Starbits is impossible. The key is speed. Here's a strategy I found to be most consistently successful. As soon as you can start moving, do 2 back-to-back long jumps. After that, get underneath the floating bricks. You can relax a bit now, as these bricks serve as a shelter and respite from the falling bits, though not a foolproof one. The next step is to wait for an opening to climb atop the bricks. From that vantage point, you should hopefully be able to long jump over the star bits in this part of the level. And finally, one good backflip ought to safely get you off this screen. The good news is that that's by far the most difficult part of this level. So now that we've conquered it, World 1 awaits. The levels we'll be playing to get through this world will be Pee-wee Piranha's Temper Tantrum, Storming the Skyfleet, Saddle Up with Yoshi, Spiny Control, Dig-a-Legs Planet, Silver Star's Deep Down, Breaking the Laws of Gravity, Search for the Toad Brigade Captain, and Gobblegut's Aching Belly. And honestly, they're all pretty easy. There's really not much worth talking about in this world. On to World 2. The levels we'll be tackling to get through World 2 are as follows: the Puzzling Picture Block, Rockin' Rolladillo, Twin Falls Hideaway, Exploring the Cosmic Cavern, Hot Stepping Dash Pepper, Silver Stars in Hightail Falls, Catch That Star Bunny, and Bowser's Big Lava Power Party. We do have a couple tricky spots in this world, specifically Exploring the Cosmic Cavern and Hot Stepping Dash Pepper. Let's start with the latter. Hot Stepping Dash Pepper has us dodging starbits at high speed throughout the level, such as these ones and others. There are 2 particularly challenging spots, the first of which being right here with this ring of starbits. Dodging between these starbits would be quite the challenge given how close together they are. Luckily for us, we don't have to, since jumping right before reaching these bits can get us to the platform that the wall was leading to anyways. On to Obstacle 2. The final wall also has some annoying starbits, and while I think they probably could be avoided, let's just avoid the whole wall instead. From the platform with the ramp that one would normally use to begin ascending the wall, you can easily flutter jump to the platform directly beneath the star. From there, all you've got to do is a side flip, flutter, and dismount straight into the star. With that taken care of, let's have a gander at exploring the Cosmic Cavern. Our troubles here begin just after entering the warp pipe. This brings us into a 2D world, which, yeah, I'm not happy about it, but it's still certainly no reason to give up. This slide, however, is very much reason to give up. Now, I may be missing something obvious here, but that, to me, looks textbook impossible. Luckily for us, this is the second star of the galaxy, and therefore can be easily skipped so long as we make up the star somewhere else. Where exactly, you might ask? The Chimp Stomp Challenge back in Fluffy Bluff Galaxy, I respond, and just for the record, the Chimp Stomp Challenge is very easy, so we aren't introducing any new hurdles with this. Well, that's us through World 2, time to see what World 3 has in store for us. Our route through World 3 will include the following stars: the Flotacious Blimp Fruit, Tall Trunk's Big Slide, A Glimmer of Bulbberry, Sneaking Down the Creepy Corridor, Bowser on Ice, the Chimp Skating Challenge, Sorbetti's Chilly Reception, Head in the Clouds, Silver Stars in the Purple Pond, Bugaboom's Back, Every Planet Has Its Price, and Bowser Jr.'s Mighty Mega Hammer. And just like in World 1, there aren't really any challenges to speak of here. The only thing even remotely worth talking about would be how the pointer controls for Yoshi's tongue can cause a bit of trouble for us while fighting Mega Hammer, and even that only barely makes the cut. In short, World 3 passes without incident. Perhaps this good fortune can continue into World 4. Speaking of World 4, these are the levels we'll be attempting during our journey through it. Huge Trouble with Big Wigglers, Flip-Flopping in Flipsville, Where the Chomps Are Made of Gold, Spring into the Chompworks, Surf, Sand, and Silver Stars, Climbing the Cloudy Tower, In Full Bloom, Silver Chomp Grudge Match, The Great Crate Incinerator, Pee-wee Piranha's Speedrun, Come Here, Goomba, and Breaking into Bowser's Castle. Now we're really getting into some tough situations. Of these levels, 4 of them are going to cause us some trouble. Those levels being Flip-Flopping in Flipsville, Where the Chomps Are Made of Gold, Silver Chomp Grudge Match, and Breaking into Bowser's Castle. Let's start with Flip-Flopping in Flipsville. The toughest part of this level has got to be this section wherein 2 chomps crash right into each other repeatedly, leaving a quite frankly absurd number of starbits in their wake. It turns out though that even this part isn't actually all that difficult to avoid. Good thing there's a bit of platform off to the side that we can use to go around the bits. And with that obstacle cleared, the rest of the level is good as beaten. Oh, what's this? I've received a letter? Well, that's nice, I suppose, but I've been avoiding the mail toad as much as possible in case he gives me any starbits. And now the game forces me to talk to him. Hopefully this doesn't end poorly. Ugh! What? 50 starbits? How? Why? As it turns out, beating certain levels causes the mail toad to automatically give you a letter with 50 starbits attached. According to Speed Demo's archive, this happens after beating 3 specific levels, those being Flip-Flopping in Flipsville, Prince Picante's Peppery Mood, and Rolling Crabber Romp. Knowing this, we now have some good news and some bad news. The good news being that all 3 of these levels are levels we can skip, and in this particular case, we'll be skipping Flip-Flopping in Flipsville by playing the sweetest silver stars instead. The bad news is that after receiving those 50 starbits, I was so shocked that I let the game save itself, like an idiot. So now, I get to start over and play through all 30 stars we've done to this point, again. Yay! So I'll just go and do that, and see you all on the flip side. Alright, we're back to where we were now, so let's take a look at where the chomps are made of gold. This level is all about guiding rolling chomps along tracks so they can activate various things for us. This level is actually pretty easy, until we get to the last obstacle of the last chomp in the level, that is. All you have to do here is lift up this platform with the proper timing to get the chomp through the rest of the track. The issue we face here is that in order to do that, we have to ground pound a switch with a column of starbits directly above it. The question is then, is it possible? And the answer is yes. It's annoying, it has to be timed properly, and if we mess up we have to start the level over, but if we jump as low as we can on the very edge of the switch, we can pull off the ground pound and get this star carrying chomp all the way to the goal. And if you're a bit smarter than me, you won't blindly long jump into a starbit immediately afterwards. But nevertheless, it is possible. On the topic of chomps, let's talk about Silver Chomp Grudge Match. It's impossible. Just look at this level. There are starbits everywhere. How is one supposed to avoid all of these? Especially when considering that this is a ball level. Now you may be thinking, but CMeeCraft, we've been through levels with lots of starbits before. What's so bad about this one? And you'd be right. Most of those starbits are theoretically avoidable. But there's one that isn't. This launch pad launches us directly into a starbit, and I know better than to try subverting launch stars and other similar devices. So unfortunately, we will have to find a star elsewhere to replace this one. How about Fuzzard's First Flight? It's motion control based as well, but more importantly, it's possible. And that brings us to our final challenge in World 4, breaking into Bowser's Castle. This Bowser level actually does challenge us quite a bit. Why exactly? This 2D section. The starboard placement combined with the way gravity bends here is just really tricky. It's incredibly easy to jump and have gravity you weren't really aware of pull you into a bit or hit some fire and run straight into one. I honestly didn't even develop a proper strategy to get past this part. I just kind of made it through once and just went with it. After that obstacle, there isn't much in this level that's all that threatening, so we can easily pick up this Grand Star and move on to World 5. We're getting close now, but before we reach World 6, we'll be trying to get through these levels. Follow me, ba-bum, to the top of Top Man's Tower. Silver stars pop up. Squizzard's Sandy Sinkhole. Sailing the Sandy Seas. A Walk on the Weird Side. Burning Upside Dizzy. The Chimp's Ultimate Skating Challenge. The Shadow Lining. Big Wiggler's Speedrun. Spiny Rainbow Romp. Dig-a-Leg's Daredevil Run. Fiery Flotilla Speedrun. Lava Lair Speedrun. And Bowser Jr.'s Boomsday Machine. This time we've got 5 levels that deserve further scrutiny. They are Follow Me Ba-Bomb, Silver Stars Pop Up, A Walk on the Weird Side, The Shadow Lining, and Spiny Rainbow Romp. Let's start with Follow Me Ba-Bomb. This level features a 2D section littered with starbits, and that's not the tricky section. What we need to worry about are these pulse stars that seem to oftentimes overlap with starbits. Good thing we've got room to maneuver. With some clever routing through this part, we can avoid all the starbits in this section, and by extension, the level. Alright, time to take on Silver Star's pop-up. Oh, a launch star that launches us directly into a starbit. I can't say it's outside of the standard devious motif that most Boo levels follow, but I can't help but be disappointed by the impossibility of this level. Good thing World 5 is very branch heavy, which allows us to replace this level with Hightail Falls speedrun. Now it's back to 2D and a walk on the weird side. Now this level intro had me writing off this level as impossible nearly immediately. I mean, just look at that practical wall of starbits. There's no way you can get through that. Except, apparently you can. I know who I'm taking to my next Limbo contest. But we're not out of the woods yet. This whole level is 2D and littered with starbits. These brain suckers in particular gave me loads of trouble, but eventually I successfully made it through this level while dodging every starbit, even with the lack of dimensions. And speaking of 2D, let's talk about the shadow lining. This level is impossible. It combines just about every possible element to make a level impossible to do starbitless. Let's run down the list, shall we? Loads of starbits out in the open? Check. Is primarily a 2D level? Check. Forces the player under a time crunch? Check. Ooh, and contains a mandatory wall jumping section? Ooh, double check. The only thing this level is missing is an anachronistic in-level Hungry Luma. Needless to say, we'll be skipping this comment and instead get the star from Squizzard's Daredevil run. On the topic of comets, let's briefly discuss Spiny Rainbow Romp. This level isn't actually all that bad in the grand scheme of things. All difficulty here comes from the fact that the Spinies turn into starbits upon being defeated. But as long as you keep running at a good clip and don't retread your steps, things you should already be doing in this level anyways, the level is perfectly beatable. And with that, we've got just enough stars to bring the fight to World 6. Let's go! In order to get to Bowser's gravity generator, we'll need to do the following stars. The Magnificent Magma Sea, Time for Adventure, the Ledge Hammer Trap, the Chimp's Bowling Challenge, Return of the Womp King, Silver Stars in the Womp Fortress, Womp's Silver Stars Speedrun, the Chimp's Score Challenge, Mega Hammer's Daredevil Bash, Mini Planet Mega Run, Snack Time for Gobbleguts, and Mini Planet Daredevil Run. And as a nice change of pace, of these levels, only one is particularly difficult, so let's take a look at Snack Time for Gobblegut. This hidden star is a rehash of the Gobblegut fight from World 1. Even there, this fight was a bit tricky, but now he's on fire, and makes lava pools, and still explodes starbits every time you hit a bellyache bulge, which makes it difficult to land multiple hits in one tunnel. Add on top of all that, the fact that this boss has the potential to obstruct an absurd amount of the screen, and we have a real challenge on our hands here. So I tried, and I tried, and I tried. I kept throwing myself at this giant snake, dragon, worm? I don't know. But eventually, perhaps out of luck, or perhaps out of Fireforge skill, I brought this reprisal down and took the only challenging star on the list. Too bad it's not a fully comprehensive list. That's right. As I'm sure you astute viewers have noticed, all the levels we've beaten to this point only adds up to 68. That is 2 stars short of the 70 needed to face Bowser in the final level. So, is there anywhere for us to get these last 2 stars at? Our options are as follows. Rolling Crabber Romp, Flip-Flopping in Flipsville, Prince Picante's Peppery Mood, The Shadow Lining, Silver Star's Pop-Up, Exploring the Cosmic Cavern, Silver Chomp Grudge Match, and a stroll down Rolling Lane. Unfortunately for us, all 8 of these levels are almost certainly impossible. Rolling Crabber Romp, Flopping in Flipsville, and Prince Picante's Peppery Mood all give us 50 starbits upon completion. Silver Star's Pop-Up, Exploring the Cosmic Cavern, and Silver Chomp Grudge Match all feature some sort of transition between areas of the level that unavoidably give us star bits, those methods being a launch star, a slope, and a ball launcher respectively. There might be more hope with these levels than the 3 that mail us star bits, but not by much. And our final 2 impossible levels are just really tricky, perhaps impossibly so. I've already talked about the shadow lining and its myriad of 2D wall jumping star bits, but I haven't yet talked about a stroll down rolling lane. This level is awful for us. Problem 1. We have to use the rock mushroom for the entirety of this level, which reduces our finesse. But the real problem here are these giant star bits that explode into little star bits, which you automatically get when you run into them. Some of these giant star bits are definitely dodgeable, but I highly doubt that all of them are, like these ones. So then, of these 8 impossible levels, is there one that perhaps we prejudge too harshly? Call me crazy, but I think we might be able to get a star out of Silver Chomp Grudge Match yet, and there's one simple reason for it. We land before touching the star bit. It may be possible to wrestle away some small amount of control from the momentum and dodge this bit. So I had to work, and I tried to dodge this evil star bit. And this is the best I could manage. That's right, with perfect, and I mean perfect timing, it is possible to jump over this star bit. The rest of the level is no cakewalk, but it's possible, and after a nerve-wracking battle against the Silver Chomp, we have our 69th star. Wait, what's this? No, I don't understand. There's no mention of this level mailing you starbits on Speed Demo's archive. And just like that, our 69th star taken away. At least I remembered to exit to the home menu before the game saved this time. Alright, back to the drawing board. You know, even if we manage to flip one of these impossible stars to possible, we still need to get another one after this. Unless that one star is the shadow lining, that is. You might not know this, but the shadow lining is the sole reason the math has gotten so tight. Because for some reason, beating the shadow lining is a prerequisite for every single Cosmic Clone Comet and Purple Coin Comet in the game. I don't even really know why. Like, Forced Hungry Lumas, I get why they exist. Because the designers wanted to teach a mechanic, so they forced the players to use it. But Cosmic Clones appear in normal levels. Why does one specific comet star have to be the designated tutorial for all Cosmic Clone-based comets? It's not even a particularly difficult concept to grasp. In short, that's the reason we can't just swoop in with a comet from Puzzle Plank or the Chomp Works or some place similar, despite having more than enough comet medals at this point. Well, I guess it's time to settle for imperfection. Or fight. Yeah, fight. Let's give this one last shot. It would be pointless to even try a stroll down rolling lane, since we'd still be a star short. But if we can in fact beat the shadow lining, then all those comets unlock, and at that point we're practically guaranteed to get 70 stars. Alright, the question is, can we time these wall jumps in such a way that we do not collect any star bits? I honestly don't know. Here's the thing, though. That question doesn't matter. You see, much to my surprise, the bottoms of these space junk-like platforms are solid. And even more surprising, they're not even sloped. They're just regular platforms. Knowing this, we should be able to climb the outside of the wall jumping section and skip it entirely. And if we can do that, this star may be within reach. Let's find out. That, my friends, was the pinnacle of this run's difficulty. Not quite Honey Hive levels of insane, but definitely the greatest turtle in this game. And with that, the rest of the game really wraps itself up. After finishing that level, the competent puzzle plank opened up, which, while looking quite scary at the end, is in fact quite easy. That gets us up to 70 stars, which allows us to take on the final level. And this time it's easy. No troublesome starbits in the final level or the boss fight with Bowser. Even the interactive credits don't throw all that much at us. And there we go. It is possible to beat Super Mario Galaxy 2 without collecting any starbits. Right? Yes. With an asterisk. Or maybe just no. Do world maps normally count in this type of challenge? Because here's the thing. The world map in Super Mario Galaxy 2 has these giant starbit clusters on it that give you 8 starbits when you run into them. Most of them are on optional branching paths. But there's one in World 2 on the convergence point of Boulder Bowl Galaxy, and Hightail Falls Galaxy. You can't progress past World 2 without hitting and getting 8 star bits from it. Luckily, since they only respawn upon quitting the game or getting a game over, if you're routing properly or play the whole run in one sitting, you only have to hit it once. So that's our minimum. 8 star bits. I don't know, maybe there is some sort of way to subvert the world map. If there is, I haven't heard of it. If you have, go ahead and tell me about it, because I would be legitimately curious to find out. But there we have it. It's possible to route the game in such a way that you can beat every level you need to, without collecting any star bits well within a level. Unfortunately, due to incompetent piloting of a spacecraft beyond our control, to beat Super Mario Galaxy 2, you must collect a minimum of 8 star bits. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. But at the same time, I'm proud of what we've achieved here. The 8 star bit run is certainly impressive, and I'm glad to have journeyed through it with you guys. Unfortunately, there isn't a Super Mario Galaxy 3, so I guess our star bit avoidance saga has to come to an end here. But I'm not finished yet. It's time to branch out of the Galaxy games, and perhaps even Mario games, because while there may not be any games left to beat without collecting star bits, there are plenty of games out there to beat with other self-imposed challenges. I know I've got a few on my mind, and I'm sure you've got some on yours too, so go ahead and leave a comment on what challenges we should attempt in the future. And while you're at it, why not leave a like or subscribe to the channel so you can actually know when the next one of these comes out. But anyways guys, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next video where we'll be tackling who knows what challenge. All I know is that I, for one, am looking forward to it, as well as to reading what challenges you guys dream up. Goodbye.